There are some places in the world that can only be truly understood from the water, and the Mekong undoubtedly deserves a spot on that list. Known as the Mother of Water, this great river is the pulsing heart of Southeast Asia, a liquid highway that has shaped civilizations for millennia. I'm Gordon Dreger, founder of Wheel and Anchor, and I'd like to share with you the experience that we've created on this great waterway. Now, if you know me, you know I've often had my reservations about many river cruises, the rigid schedules, the over-touristed towns, and that feeling of being a mere observer and not getting to know a place. But for this specific corner of the world, there's quite simply no better way to explore. To travel the Mekong is to witness life in its most authentic rhythm, far removed from the paved roads and the noise of the modern world. We use the river not just as a floating hotel to keep the world at bay, but as a bridge to bring us closer to it. We've slowed the pace, chosen a vessel that feels like a home rather than an all-inclusive resort, and focused on the quiet moments, the sunrise over the delta, the sound of a distant temple bell, and the genuine warmth of the people we meet along the way. Whatever intrigues you about this corner of Asia, I invite you to set aside any traditional notions of cruising and imagine instead a moving sanctuary that allows us to sink deeply into the soul of Vietnam and Cambodia. Our journey follows a classic route, but with a deliberate, unhurried speed. We begin in the south, in the vibrant energy of Ho Chi Minh City, a place where French colonial elegance meets the relentless drive of modern Vietnam. From there, we move into the vast emerald expanse of the Mekong Delta, where the river splits into 9 branches, known to the Saigonese as the 9 Dragons. As we travel upstream, we cross into Cambodia. The landscape shifts from the lush, waterlogged plains of the delta to the hauntingly beautiful wetlands leading to Phnom Penh, the country's capital. We continue north, navigating the narrows of the river as it winds toward Tonle Sap, the vast lake that ebbs and flows from season to season. Our last leg to the ancient site of Angkor Wat takes us by road. This journey isn't just a line on a map. It's a transition from the bustling commerce of the coast to the spiritual and historic heart of the interior, and we're going to take our time to appreciate every kilometer of it. Our trip starts in Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon. You can take your pick, as the locals use both depending on their mood. It's a great city to wander in, filled with sidewalk cafes where you can hang out and watch the world go by. We'll dive into the city's complex history, from the French colonial elegance of the old post office to the striking different perspective offered at the War Remnants Museum. We'll even head out to the Cu Chi tunnels to see firsthand the determined spirit of the people who shaped modern Vietnam. But it's, of course, not all about history. In Wheel and Anchor form, it's also about the flavors, and we'll walk through local markets with a chef to pick out fresh ingredients before learning how to prepare a traditional 3-course meal ourselves. By the time we head to the Saigon Opera House for a mesmerizing AO show, you'll feel the city's unique blend of rural roots and urban ambition. On the 5th day of our trip, we leave the city streets behind and board our privately chartered river vessel. We chose this boat because it is a handsome 4-deck replica of an 1865 colonial-era ship. The vision of the founder was to recreate the charm of 19th century travel without the tiresome distractions of the modern world. That means there's no TVs, no Wi-Fi, and no phones. Instead, the heart of the ship is the sun deck with its teak loungers and open bridge policy. It's a place designed for conversation and reflection. And as we moor overnight on the Vam Co River, we'll settle into a well-appointed cabin that feels like a home on the water. The meals here are a highlight, using fresh regional ingredients to create 4-course dinners that reflect the very delta we're sailing through. We'll then sail right into that delta, navigating the narrow Cho Gao Canal, barely wider than our boat, where you can practically reach out and touch the riverbanks. We'll board sampans to glide through the mangrove forests of Ben Tre, entering a region so fertile it produces half of Vietnam's rice. Further upstream, in the border town of Chau Doc, we'll visit floating fish farms and climb the steps of the Hang Pagoda to take in a hilltop view of the jungle. We'll then leave Vietnam behind and cross into Cambodia, reaching Phnom Penh. And here we'll get the chance to tour the capital in traditional cyclos, visiting the Silver Pagoda and the National Museum with its collection of ancient statuary. We'll also spend a somber, profound afternoon at the Killing Fields, guided by those old enough to remember, ensuring we understand the true heart and resilience of modern-day Cambodia. Leaving the capital, we sail up the Tonle Sap River, a fascinating waterway in and of itself that actually reverses its course during the rainy season to flow into the Great Lake of the same name. We'll explore the rural district of Kampong Tralak by ox cart, seeing a side of the country that remains purely agrarian. One evening, we'll have a fireside cocktail party in a small fishing village, where we're invited to hang out and perhaps dance with the local children. The journey then continues to the ancient capital of Udon for a guided meditation session at a Buddhist center. We'll also see the delicate art of silk weaving in Pak Rosai and watch a demonstration of Bokator, a Cambodian martial art that predates nearly everything in the region. And before disembarkation, we'll visit the pottery hub of Piam Che Kang to witness artisans at work, a perfect quiet moment before heading toward the grandeur of Siem Reap. The final piece of our journey takes place here, where we'll check into our hotel not far from the Royal Palace. We'll visit Sacha, a beautiful handicraft incubator where local artisans are reviving traditional wood and stone carving set among lush rice fields. But the true big day begins just before the light of dawn. We'll follow a torchlit path through the forest to the east gate of Angkor Wat, arriving just as the sun rises behind the temple's iconic towers. This is one of the most serene experiences on the planet. We'll wander through the jungle-claimed ruins of Ta Prohm and see the massive stone faces of the Bayon, and our visit to this remarkable ancient region will conclude with a visit to the Citadel of the Women, Bantay Sray, famous for its incredibly fine pink sandstone carvings. It is the closing circle of a trip that has taken us from the neon of Saigon to the silent ancient stones of the Khmer. Traveling through Southeast Asia can be an overwhelming experience, but it shouldn't be a frantic one. At Wheel and Anchor, we believe the best stories aren't found in a list of monuments, but in the shared laughter over a meal with new travel friends or the quiet conversation with a fellow member as the Trevor River slides by. We handle all the complexities, the border crossings, the logistics, and the planning, so you have the freedom to simply be present. And of course, you'll be joined by a community of like-minded Canadians and friends who share your curiosity and your preference for travel that is refined, enriching, and a whole lot of fun. If you're ready to see the Mekong, not just as a tourist, but as a guest of the river, I invite you to join us this coming season. Download the full e-brochure to see some of the specific details of our itinerary and our chosen vessel. I truly believe that this is the most thoughtful way to experience this extraordinary part of the world, and I look forward to welcome you on board.
It's our second trip with Wheel and Anchor. I've been following the blog for a while, and we decided to have a go. We did Galapagos. That was outstanding, and we decided to do the Mekong. And Gordon's perspective of philosophy is amazing. Small groups, Canadian, wonderful content that takes you off the beaten path into different experiences. The quality of the hotels is excellent. Excellent guides, really good guides. We've had wonderful guides, and the overall experience is, I would say, one of the best I've had on both trips, and I'm looking forward to doing more.
And it caters to the finding. I mean, other than the fact that you will notice that, I mean, the age group is very similar, but I think a lot of people in our age group, you know, we've done the Mexico, the Hawaii, the going to Europe and all this type of stuff. But when you reach a certain age and everything else, I mean, you're going like, look, I'm tired of organizing this and trying to do that, trying to do that. So, I mean, you get an experience where somebody is coming in now and they literally meet you when you come off the plane, and you're in their hands the entire time. And then the experience that they have put together for that whole trip is is catering, I think, to the age group, but also catering to the fact that it maybe is, for most people, it's an area they've never been to before. So I mean, it's the exposure to a completely different cultural experience, and whether you come back again or not, I mean, it's up to you entirely. But I think the general tendency is that people turn around and they just going like, oh, I really like that type of thing, you know, and I'm gonna try another one type of thing, because the way it's been organized, it's just a great experience.